And we're live, Mr. Chair, go ahead.
Okay, so back in open session. Again, any declarations or conflicts of interest?
None?
Approval of the agenda?
Approved.
Yes.
Okay, moved, approved by Kevin and seconded by Lana. Any business arising from the minutes?
See none?
No. Okay, we'll go to reports. First one, A, awarding design consulting services, phase 1 and 2 for Simmons Sports Center Arena and pool replacement. Frank, you want to take that?
All right, so you'll see the resolution in your package. So it's just that the city's, that the design and consulting services phase 1 and 2 for Simmons Sports Center and pool replacement to be awarded to DRSA Architect Inc. in the amount of $144,072 plus applicable taxes. You'll see the background here. We'll provide you an overview of why we're actually awarding it in phases. And as you're quite aware, the city is in the process of just made an application to ICIP funding. Since we haven't got this funding approved yet, and any contract amount that we award at this time would not be eligible, but the city wants to get this project underway sooner rather than later. So what we're doing is we're recommending to award the first 2 phases for this design and consulting services. And this will allow us to get underway with the space review and the schematic and detailed design. And part of that will be the public consultation process as well. So it provides a breakdown of the procurement details that we went out to RFP and who the 4 companies that submitted bids. There was an evaluation committee that reviewed the technical and descriptive component of the proposal. Once we had reviewed had tallied those scores, we had sent it off to finance department to get the financial bids and scores back. It was a 2-envelope system. So following that, you'll see the breakdown on the companies where they scored technical and where they scored financially, and the company we're looking to award to is DRSA Architect. You'll see the breakdown also for the financial part, how the points were scored. And so based on the technical and descriptive and the financial, that's where the actual total points score comes from.
So, if memory serves me right, Frank, this is Parks and Rec, we just make a recommendation to accept DRSA, and then it would go to the finance committee. The finance committee would review and make a recommendation to council. Is that correct?
Yes, the motion will come from our department. The resolution does, but finance reviews it, and if they concur, then they second the motion.
Yeah, so it's usually the resolution is signed off by the chair of finance and the chair of Parks and Rec.
Correct. Yeah, the mover is the chair of Parks and Recreation, and the seconder is the chair of finance.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that? Frank, this discussion there on Simmons tenants. Everybody good?
DRSA, where's that company, Frank?
They're based out of Halifax.
Okay. And they just seem like they got 58.1 and 144,000. Like they're a little higher than Coles. I just wondered.
Yeah, they were slightly higher, but based on the technical aspect of it, technical and descriptive part, they have higher qualifications. They did much better in that aspect of it. The bids are fairly close. The first 3 at least. The 4th one was pretty high. But yeah, so that's how we do the 2-envelope system. So it allows at the end of the day you're getting the best technical company, along with the most reasonable price, not necessarily the lowest price, but for the scope of work.
No, the only reason I'm asking is they will ask these questions.
Yes, yeah. So so we did. So we want the selection committee in place with four members, 2 from our department and 2 engineers involved in it. So we had a good range of people evaluating it.
Yep.
And during our initial evaluations, we all scored the DRSA as the highest technical.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? No, I'm good, Ernie. Okay, thanks, Bob. Yeah, just, I know from being chair of finance in the past, I mean, usually what happens is these recommendations come from the different committees, and then it's finance's role as finance tendering, to review the tenders and, just basically go over what Frank went over and make sure that all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and everything's done correctly, and then from there it goes to council for vote. So, if everybody's okay with that, we'll go to the next one, is awarding 2021 playground equipment purchase.
We need a mover and a seconder. First, Mr. Chair, to move that file forward.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, that's correct. Yeah. Can I have a mover and seconder, please?
I'll move it.
Councilor mover, seconder?
I'll second it.
Councilor Atlanta, okay? all in favor?
Aye.
Favor? Favor, okay, good.
Councilor Lana.
Councilor Atlanta, Yankoff, how's that? All right, awarding 2021 playground equipment purchase.
All right,
That's pretty straightforward.
do you want me to speak to it, Councilor Bernard, or good?
I'm just reading it over. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, you go ahead.
So yeah, you'll see the resolution in your package. It's broke down with all the pieces of playground equipment, each piece of equipment. And you'll see what, medium structure, swing, or slide, those type of things. The purchased equipment is one part of the amount, which is about 33,000 plus applicable taxes. Then you'll see that there's an estimate for additional amount for the installation, removal of the equipment, the installation and contingency costs. So that amount ends up being around, we're estimating about 65,000. And the reason why that cost is a little higher than what you would normally see based on the price of equipment is that there is, I believe, 4 sets of swings. Swings cost more to install. They're cheaper to purchase equipment, but they cost more to install. And it provides a detailed breakdown of all the 2 bids we received.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's well documented there. Let's move on to awarding the 2021 security patrol for the park.
And we still need a motion, Mr. Chair.
Yeah?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Favor? Okay. Move along to security patrol for parks. Frank, you want to take that?
Sure. So you'll see the next one is the awarding the security patrol for the city parks. The resolution's in there. We are recommending to award it to the amount of $41,270 from Atlantic Private Protection Services, better known as APPS, for security park patrol. We'll award it. We'll award the contract for this year, and we have the option to extend it into 21 and 22 if the service is deemed suitable. You'll see
That's if both parties agree, right?
Yes, that's if both parties agree, correct. You will see that we received 2 bids and went out here recently. One of the bids were disqualified for due to an adverse vendor report in 2020, and that was the reason why we went out again. The company we are awarding to did the actual security park patrol for us the last number of years and did a very good job except for last year. So you'll just see a few details there. The Victoria Park Foot Patrol is for 20 weeks and it goes 24 hours per week, and there's 2 personnel down at Victoria Park, so Thursday to Sunday, 6 hours an evening. And it's during sort of the peak time when there's incidents and issues that happen. And then the vehicle patrol, which goes out through all the other city parks, goes for 15 weeks and it's 8 hours a day. So that ends up being 56 hours a week. We'll be starting at the end of May and going to the middle of September. And the other one starts in the middle of May and goes to the end of September.
So run that by me again, Frank. When are the hours during the week?
So for the
8 hours.
Yeah, so the city, if you look for the citywide one, That goes
Yeah.
8 hours a week, or 8 hours a week, 8 hours a day for 7 days a week. So it starts at what time, Nancy?
At dusk usually.
At dusk. So it
It
starts.
varies a little.
Yeah, it varies a bit, but around say,
6, 7.
yeah, 7, 8 o'clock, depending on the time of the year for that, and then goes into the morning. Then you have the Victoria Park one goes.
So they basically go all night.
8 hours.
They go, yeah, so they start at, I think they start at 6. don't they?
6,
Yeah, they
yeah.
start at 6. Those ones start at 6 because you want them whenever the evening users come on. So that's sort of the time we have for the city parks ones. So that'll go 6 till 2.
6 at night, but 6 at night for 2 in the morning.
Yes, yeah, 6 till 2. The one at Victoria Park is the one that we sort of fluctuate the hours a little bit there, so that people don't necessarily get used of when the park patrol is there. So some nights they might start at 7, some nights they might start at 8, and they go till either 1 or 2, depending on when they start.
And that's only Thursday to Sunday, right?
Thursday to Sunday. And that's sort of when we found the most incidents and issues happen.
I just have a question, Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Atlanta.
So the 8 hours, 7 days a week, you mentioned that that's just drive-bys? They don't get out of their vehicles?
They do get out. We have a little tracking device, so they get out, for example, they check the ball fields, they go into the park, check the park kind of thing, and we have a thing that they actually test that they were there, so we know they were there.
Okay.
It's they just so that they can cover the whole city, and let's say, for example, we have a park that is a problem area, they might make 2 or 3 drive rounds around that area, and they would have I forget what you call it, the little test thing.
Daily system.
Yeah, that they test, and we know that they're there. They have to get out of their vehicle to do that.
So there's no security between 2 a.m. and
There's police.
6 a.m.?
Police
Right.
are always there. So we provide an added service when the parks are busiest, so that the police can't be everywhere. We're the eyes and ears of the police. So there's only one person, so they're not really allowed. It's not safe for them to interact with people, so they would, if it was dark or there's a crowd, so they would call the police then.
So during the time that's the highest use, is they're sort of there, okay, they could say, okay, there's an incident happened here, let's say wherever, Rochford Square, they would call the police would come down to the square kind of thing. It's sort of an extra
Great.
support when there's a high number of users in the park.
Yeah, for sure, sounds great.
And when people are coming up from bars and stuff like that,
Yeah.
when they open them, yeah.
So, Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yeah, okay, just want to add to what Councilor Yankoff was saying. I think part of her question might have to do with the performance that was done by the providers last year. And so there were some performance issues, and I think Frank spoke to that a bit. So just on what Councilor Yankoff said, we are looking for a little better performance this year from this company.
Yes.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, so Frank, or Nancy, I guess should say, from Monday to Thursday, Victoria Park, it's a little more quieter.
From Monday to Wednesday.
Monday to Wednesday, yeah, it starts Thursday, I'm sorry, yes. Yeah, because, as you know, some people want it 7 days a week. And I just want to know the answer to that one. I mean, why we're not going 7 days a
We
week?
found that, as Frank mentioned, it's after hours when people have been at the bars usually it's for a walk through, or they're out of school and they're bored. That's when we found 90% of the damage. Not saying that we're capturing everything, but the concerns are mainly on the weekends.
And it's the biggest thing, is if we wanted to do it 7 days a week, I know we've discussed this many times.
Right.
It's gonna cost more money.
Yeah,
Could we do it? Yeah, if we had the money, sure. But we look at where's the best bang for the buck down at Victoria Park.
No, I agree with that.
Thursday and it's also when there's a lot of users. So whenever you have Memorial Field at max use, City Diamond, skate park's open, there's individual playing in front, tennis going on. So it allows that there's more to help deal with those issues as well.
so your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Victoria Park is just going to be your police driving through, correct?
That is the normal.
We have a staff person that works there,
Okay,
and they do, they work till about 11 or 12 at night. So sort of like the duty crew, they close down buildings, turn on lights, that kind of thing. So we do have a staff person that has a presence, but they also go throughout the city doing other things. So we can't claim that they're there all the time.
no, okay.
One thing I'd like to add, did we not put up cameras down at Victoria Park too? One or two cameras?
That is correct. We do have one camera at the Victoria Park Ballfield Clubhouse, which is an area we were having high vandalism. So we have that, but that also, the camera also points and shows to City Diamond, Memorial Field, and down the actual pathway. So it gives us a good view of an area where there tends to be high traffic and potential for incidents. So
And was there talk of a possible another camera?
there is, if as long as we could find the money, we would look at putting the camera elsewhere.
Find a sponsor.
Well, we passed the budget for 5 extra cameras that work without anybody. To the police, correct, Bob? I think the police, could you put extra money in for cameras? Yes, but.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I think we so. Yeah, so I think there was 5 that's in that budget. So if there's a location that's appropriate, we may want to ask to see if we can get one of them, because it certainly helps the police and it deters a lot of vandalism when they know they're on camera. So anyway, just to add that. So any other questions on the contract for the security patrol of the park? Is everybody good?
Yep,
Yeah. Good. Okay, so can I have a mover and a seconder?
sure.
Moved by Kevin, seconded by,
I'll second.
seconded by Lana. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Favor? Okay, that's good. One other thing I wouldn't mind adding, it's probably the appropriate time. I don't know how much, Kevin, I don't know how much demand or how much the people are looking for security all through the week in Victoria Park. But I just wanted to add, I did have some conversations that I wouldn't mind bringing to you guys. Excuse me. The possibility of during the week having 1 or 2 park ambassadors. And we often hear about, whether it's motorized vehicles, the pedestrian lane that we close, or people with their dogs loose or what have you, that we could have 1 or probably 2 park ambassadors. That could be just that. They could be ambassadors, and they let people know, sorry, you can't have a motorized vehicle on that. That's for pedestrians and bikes, or your dog needs to get a leash. Just trying to have a nice professional park presence of letting people know what they can and can't do. We often heard of complaints in the past about this stuff going unchecked and people jumping off the wharf, and I don't know how much is true that's floating off. I don't know how much is true and not true. But it might not hurt to look at possibly a couple of ambassadors for the Victoria Park. That's not a decision that has to be made today, but I do want to have that conversation. I want to get what the other members of the committee feel.
Sounds good. If we can find them.
Yeah. No, I just want to there's no sense pursuing if the committee doesn't agree with it. It's just something I think we could talk about. And it doesn't have to be like a police officer being strict. It's just, they're letting people know this is not allowed, and it's appreciated if you follow along. And is there going to be some that are probably going to be not so nice to them when they're told, maybe, but then there's probably a lot of people that don't appreciate it. So if the committee is in agreement with that, we'll have further conversations to see what we can do for this summer at 1 or 2. And they could be students. And like I said, they're not enforcement officers. They're just allow when people are doing things that we don't allow in the parks, if they let them know. And if it's something serious enough, then they can document it and we can let the police know.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody's okay with that. I'll have further conversations with Frank on that. Thank you very much. The last one is the Acadian Forest Trail Agreement with Cyclone PEI. So I don't know if everybody had a chance to look over that. I know Bobby and I got ours this morning. But this is the same agreement that was in place before with some insurance changes. Frank, if you want to talk on that, or Nancy, just to let everybody know what changes are there in this agreement compared to the last one.
Yeah, so what I'll speak to Councilor Bernard there. So with regards to just a few minor changes, we'll be passing a resolution. And I didn't have the resolution attached to that agreement. We just heard back from Cycling PI on it. So the resolution would just read that the City of Charlottetown renews the license agreement with Cycling PEI for the development and maintenance of the Acadian Forest bicycle-friendly trail located at the former East Royalty landfill site under the terms and conditions set out in the attached agreement. So if you look at the attached agreement, it's pretty well the same as it was previously, just a few changes. We've added the words, instead of referring to it as mountain bike trails, we're referring to it as bicycle-friendly trail. We've also sort of changed that it's geared more to recreational biking, not just mountain biking. The terms of the agreement will be May of 2020 to April of 2025, and the reason why we're backdating it, the agreement had lapsed previously, and we just took a while to get it negotiated due to COVID and whatnot. So we wanted to still make sure we had the agreement in place covering those time frames. The one thing that we did remove, at one time there was a seasonal time frame that the pathways, the trails could be used. Now cycling has become year-round. So at one time it used to be May 1st to the end of November. Now we're saying that it's just going to, we took out that clause and it's going to be actually year-round. In the wintertime they do fat biking on it. And there's going to be an understanding that during times when the pathways are soft and whatnot, that they wouldn't be permitted to be used. And we work with Cycling PEI in that. And the rest of it is pretty well straightforward standard. There's just one other clause that was put in here. Nancy has been able to, over the years, allocate a few dollars to help when they were doing fix-ups of trails and maintenance and whatnot. So we've noted clause 13 in the document. It or its assignee shall give consideration to providing some type of annual funding to the leasee to support trail maintenance and enhancement activities on the premises as agreed by both parties. So more or less, each annual year during budget, if something comes up that we can identify some dollars, it could be an operational, or it might be, as of this year, we're doing some more major upgrades. We're actually going to be allocating some capital dollars towards it.
So Frank, I just missed that last part. Can you talk about that again? That's
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, so it's with regards to us providing some type of annual, that will give consideration to providing some type of annual funding. Not saying that we're going to, but that we will. And as I noted previously, Nancy would have in her budget, the parks budget, she'd have $1,000, $2,000 to help with some annual maintenance. This year we have additional funding set aside. We got money through capital to make some major overhauls to the pathway. So we have about $10,000 in there. So that's going to allow us to do some major upgrades to fix some deficiencies that have not been able to get done in regular maintenance.
Right. Okay. And I'm just question for you and Nancy on the extension of the trails. And I know Cycling PEI now, like you say, some different cycling goes year round. How long's the contract for? Because if we start seeing a lot more damage because of the winter travel to the bikes and mud and so on, to get down to the roots of the trees again, I'm just wondering what's the term of the year-round agreement?
Well, so it'd be right now, again, in 2021, so it'd be for 4 years. What we would do is, that's something we'd monitor, and if we found there was damage occurring, then we'd be consulting with it. We would put up closed signs on the trails. If we find they're not being respectful of it. It's something that started probably last year, maybe the year before, that it was being used inside of sort of that regular norm during the winter for fat biking and stuff. And it's still sort of new to see. Yes, there could be some damage there that might occur, but I think it's partly contributed to the fact that the trails are becoming more heavily used, and we need to do some major upgrades to them so that they'll actually stand up better.
Okay. And this is all our trails.
Excuse me?
It's all our trails available for cyclists and pedestrians.
Yes, yeah. So there's also, you'll see in the actual schedules, if you go to Schedule A and Schedule B, Schedule A sort of shows where the East Valley landfill site is. Then Schedule B shows the area where the trails are located in. And then Schedule C.
So that agreement you're talking about, that's just for the Acadian Forest then, or is it for all trails in the city?
No, just for the Acadian Forest trails. That's what this is.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just for that location, and it's partly because there is the trails in there that are geared more towards biking.
Yes. Okay.
Sort of I don't want to call them mountain bike trails, but they're geared sort of that type of trail.
They're geared towards, but they are pedestrian also.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So if you go to actually there's another map following, you'll see where What's that?
Terry Rowe doesn't have that.
Yeah, Terry has it, Christopher's in there.
Okay.
So then if you go to Schedule B, we'll sort of show the trails that are located in there. So you'll see sort of the rating, the family one, which is the blue, the other trails. So the ones that are sort of the red, those are the walking ones. And then then you'll see the green, which is the trails for biking. And then you'll see the green down below, and then you'll see the yellow, that's for biking as well. So there is, the red one would be the ones more geared towards walking. The other pathways can be used for walking as well, but
Yeah, no, that's just what I wanted to confirm, that's fine, yeah.
so we
Okay,
are,
so
sorry, Councilor Bernard, we are actually looking at, we find that Nancy has been out, Dean, and they've been out checking the trails, and there appears to be some ones we need to identify, better define where the trails are, because people tend to, if they see an opening, they'll bike across that location. So we're going to be working with Cycling PI on those to just confirm exactly where the pathways are and have them more signed so people will know where they are as well.
Okay.
Frank, getting back to the insurance, number 7,
Yes.
like are all our parks and everything insured through liability and all our trails are just,
Oh yes, yeah, they all are. So this one.
we're covered under the whole thing?
Yes, what this is here, this is that they take a commercial liability insurance because we're partnering with them, and they're helping to maintain these bike-friendly trails with us. So that is that they need to have that type of insurance, and which they've already provided to us, naming
Okay.
us as a third party.
Okay. So that's the Cycling PI that's taking that in?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
And we already have our insurance, of course.
Okay.
Okay, Alana, any questions?
No, thank you for asking.
Bob? No, good, Jerry.
Councilor Mann?
And this, just one.
Move that contract out to council also, so I have move for a second, please.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
That was move it, Alana seconds it, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Okay, I think that's all I had, folks. Is there anything else, anybody have any questions, anything else? If not, we're, good to go.
Just one question.
Yeah.
I wondered if tenders are going in fairly soon for paving and stuff. It seems that we always scramble in the fall to get this stuff done. I'm wondering if we're just getting things ready now.
For what, Bob?
Like tenders for the paving and stuff.
Does that be public works?
No.
Oh, you mean for any paving in the parkway?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yes, with the parking lot there, yeah. Frank, you want to take that?
So right now, Nancy and her has been working with the professional service firms to get those tenders finalized. So we hope to have Mulberry out within the next couple weeks.
Should be.
Yeah, within the next couple weeks. And then the Centennial one is one that we're working right now. We have some deficiency work that they have to come back to address. So we're working at that time. We're going to look at to see if they can do the scope of work for this year. So keeping our fingers crossed that they'll come in with a reasonable quote. So those are the two main ones in your area, Councilor Duran. So we should hopefully we'll be getting awarded by early June.
Yeah.
And the other one, the one at Centennial, could be earlier.
I'm just trying to think of the capital budget. I know Mulberry was there, and Centennial was finishing up. Was there one more park?
Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth's deficiency, so once they can get back to do that, and the other one is Frank McCauley Park, which is actually partnership funding required for that. So we'll have to discuss that at a later date where we'll proceed with that.
Yes, I remember that, yeah, okay. Now, does that answer your question, Bob?
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Once we know, like Councilor Duran, that we have, then we'll sort of give you a heads up saying that it's gone out and go from there.
That'd be great, Frank. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Good.
Seeing nothing, I'll move for adjournment. Can I have a mover?
Yeah.
Second.
Second and fourth. Okay, moved by Kevin, second by Lana. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.